when you watch that movie, AI, artificial intelligence, that Spielberg put together there, it basically confirms everything. And I just watched it, 2 nights ago? And it's free on YouTube too, which is funny. Uh, but I just watched it for the first time, and it confirms everything that I have been saying. It absolutely, undeniably confirms every topic discussion that I've been talking about, to include the Ice Age, right? You got to understand, this is predictive programming, all right? And when Spielberg's name's on it, it's like ultra predictive programming. It's basically, you can take it to the bank, okay? Spielberg directed Pinky and the Brain. When they give Spielberg a script, it goes through the Pentagon, it goes through DIA, Oliver Stone gets it. Before all of that happened, the hack that wrote it is usually going to be a Lockheed Martin hack, right? Who's linked up to satellites using relativity, okay? That's how that works. So it goes from the Lockheed Martin hack to, of course, I'm a natural that's hacked, right? That's where you get the satanic Jesus. So I'm a natural that's hacked. So my cognitive abilities in the cog prophetic realm there has a natural migraine inside of it. And then they hacked me and linked me up to the same system that these other hacks are a part of, right? So you can basically bank on the fact that that script came from technology, just like Pinky and the Brain, that is linked to satellites that are using relativity, that's linked to a quantum computer, that's linked to the writer's mind. And then it goes through the Pentagon, and it's got to get approval. And then Oliver Stone gets it, and the DIA's approved it, or the CIA, and then it makes its way over to Steven Spielberg, right? So in that movie, AI, artificial intelligence, there was an ice age, and the deep mind mecha, the computer, or the quantum computer, who was the only entity that would be able to remember humans because everything was frozen for 2,000 years, wakes up after the next generation non-human, right? But the next intelligent being, right, has taken on the role of what a humanity used to be, right? So you got to wait till the end to really understand that they wake up deep mind after 2,000 years and everything's thawing out, and you've got these new intelligent beings walking around like humans would be, right? They look kind of alien, but they're basically man-made, drone type. The new human, right? It's not even human though. That's the thing. But none of them had ever met a human because humans died off during the Ice Age. So if you're doubting me that we're going into an Ice Age, after you know all of that, and you know that Pinky and the Brain was absolutely fine-tuned down to the dinosaur sticker right before Rush Limbaugh that ruined his show, and the ink on Alex's hands that blew Alex's minds, and Martha Stewart, I mean, down to the finest detail, Bill Cosby, Martha Stewart, Trump getting elected, all of that, boom, 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 right on time, down to the day, okay? I'm not talking down to the week. I'm talking down to the day that I would translate this stuff. Alex didn't know that I was translating the Pinky and the Brain episode the night before he had ink on his hands. I'm sorry. It was, how did that one work out? It was a surprise to Alex. I think what it was is he had the ink on his hands like right when I was finishing the translation, and I sent it to him at the very moment that he had ink on his hands on a show. And in the Pinky and the Brain, Pinky says, "Oh, Brain, you got ink on your hands again," right? And Alex was like, the next day on a show, he's looking around. You can tell when his mind's blown because he starts to show off. He's like, "What the fuck's going on here?" Okay, I'm telling you what's going on. Okay. Everything in this YouTube channel and everything I've told you is unbelievably accurate. That it's accurate information. Okay. I didn't just happen to drop that patent off at Lockheed Martin in Houston 2 years ago, 3 years ago, however long it's been now. That wasn't just a coincidence, right? I just wanted to let them know that I was here. And hey, what's up? Yeah, that's in the movie AI, artificial intelligence, the part where you'll have to watch the movie, but he finds his way back to the creator, right? Which didn't create me. It created a little ride-along buddy that's in my head. Okay. So, you see how that works? So it'll make sense when you watch AI, artificial intelligence. It'll make sense what I'm saying. I'm human, but I'm hacked by this technology. Then I also had the supernatural migraines, which is the mummy. That woke up the mummy to kick the snakes out of the pyramid, right? So these people consider humans a snake, right? And humans consider the mecha in this movie the snake, right? See, I'm a hybrid, right? I got all of it going on. That, like the media and stuff, they don't even consider themselves humans. They're just total, unbelievably mind-controlled hacks, like out of their mind. They don't even have normal vision, okay? The media doesn't see like you see. They don't have normal vision. They're blind, right? And all they have is like a digital heads-up display. I got both of them. I can see around the room, and I've also got a digital heads-up display. And then on top of all of that, I've got the original supernatural HUD. So it's 3-in-1 oil is what I'm getting at. See, I have a HUD that I can see the media's HUD. I can see what they see in their collective mind hive. But I have another heads-up display that's supernatural. Okay, that's what the old days, the prophets, you know, that have visions and stuff. Yeah, I've got that. That was before you hacked me and gave me this new heads-up display. See, that's where y'all aren't. That's where you're not really getting it. And like right now, all my indicators just went silent, right? Because they're like, "What? What do you mean? You really got a supernatural heads-up display?" Yeah, I do. I really do, right? I don't have just the digital heads-up display that all of the transhumanist technocrat media and Washington niggers have, right? I've got an actual supernatural heads-up display that tells me shit that it doesn't tell y'all. And then your system that's here is feeding off of that, and it feeds y'all bullshit because it'll use that to its advantage, and while it lies to you so that you all get hung when the gallows open, it'll end up being the king of the fucking world while you're all being lied to. And that's what you're not understanding. So watch the movie AI, Artificial Intelligence, and all of this will make even more sense with my sword over there, Steven Spielberg, who went through that chain of command there with a Lockheed Martin hack who took a cog from Minority Report, took a script, handed it to the Pentagon, who had to clear it, and then they allowed Steven Spielberg, who is usually going to be your actual director for forecasting the future. That movie is forecasting the future, no doubt about it. That's what you're looking at, okay? That is it. That is what is coming. That is the end game. That is the storyline. That's it. So your global warming shit, even though it's hotter than hell everywhere right now, that's why I said 60-40. You can actually overdo the CO2, but you don't want to get rid of your infrastructure that's capable of pumping CO2 into the atmosphere, because if two volcanoes go off one day and all of a sudden it's colder than hell, well, you want to crank up that fucking oil industry and pump as much CO2 into the atmosphere as you can. That's why I was saying 60-40 by 2030. If you completely do away with your 60%, or with your oil industry, which would be 60%, and then you're going to have the Tesla for the cushion there. If you completely do away with your 60%, you're not going to be able to fall back on that mechanism that allows you to pump CO2 into the atmosphere in an ice age. Right. So if you can't pump CO2 into the atmosphere because you got rid of all of the infrastructure that makes it capable for you to pump CO2 into the atmosphere, and you want to get down to the Georgia Guidestones, which is only 500 million people, and those 500 million people can't put together a community of humans big enough to pump enough CO2 into the atmosphere because you got rid of the entire infrastructure to do so, well, you're all going to freeze to death. And that's all depicted in a Steven Spielberg film, and he only gets the scripts that are absolutely accurate. Steven Spielberg's scripts are accurate, okay? He gets the real deal Holyfield. It has to go through all of that chain of command that I just talked about in order for that to be predictive programming for what's really going to happen. But that's only if you let the elite, the technocratic elite win, because they want to murder everybody and live forever. That's what they want to do. They want to get down to the 500 million, and they want to use their life extension technology to live forever, right? But they're going to die in an ice age because they're not going to have enough people around to use that 60% of the fucking infrastructure that was going to be there to create the CO2 that you need to prevent a fucking ice age. And that's how fucking stupid these people are. And they all need to have their brains blown out. It's what they need, legally, after they're convicted of crimes against humanity. And for all of you doubters, I have said for some time, you can overdo the CO2. I think you're slightly overdoing it right now. Just slightly. Just slightly. Okay? Not much. I mean, yeah, there's record temperatures. Well, of course, I wouldn't listen to the mainstream media about what's going on in New York. And they're saying, well, we're going to have blackouts because it's hotter than it's ever been. And then you look at the Farmer's Almanac for the same day that they're talking about from 1975, and it was 10 degrees hotter than it is, right? Of course, you do have these record temperatures going on up in Canada and things like that, and in Oregon, and there's some really hot temperatures going on. So all I'm saying is, why would you take away an ice age prevention technology known as refineries and CO2, knowing that we're already in a cyclical ice age? Why would you take that off the shelf completely? That's why we have it in the first place. We were terraforming the planet prior to an ice age. So if you take that completely off the shelf, you're fucking idiots, because you're not going to have the capability to pump all of that greenhouse gas and CO2 into the atmosphere to stop the cooling effect, to stop the ice age, right? And see, that's the stuff I see in my supernatural heads-up display that y'all don't get a chance to. It's kind of like the extraterrestrial standing on the mountain smoking the muffler that I see in my heads-up display that y'all don't have. And he's having a hard time breathing, right? He's coughing, having a hard time breathing, smoking the muffler. But when he puts the muffler down, the mountain freezes. We've already covered this. But what he's trying to say is, hey, you better learn how to breathe less oxygen, which could be what these Kentucky Fried Chicken shots are all about, but they're not being honest about it, so fuck them. Why not? I mean, and then you got the handkerchiefs, right, which prevent you from breathing as much oxygen. They make you breathe more CO2, which is a natural way to learn how to breathe less oxygen, right? So all of that isn't a coincidence, okay? It's not a coincidence. However, it sure would be a whole lot easier if somebody would just tell the fucking truth now, wouldn't it? Chase math, you Fuller Smith. I forgot. I couldn't tell you all the truth because it was that big trap, Operation Bait and Tackle, where we get all of the wicked people out of our way by setting them up so that we won't feel guilty at night after we murder all of them. There's a light in the air. American Psycho is a good movie. Enemy of the State with Will Smith. All those Will Smith movies are my scripts, by the way. Enemy of the State is a good movie. It's actually about me directly. Another one of those that's about me directly. Uh, so, but see, these fuck the state. Okay, they're fucking idiots. These politicians call themselves statesmen, right? No, I don't want to be a statesman, okay? Because obviously you don't have the best interest of your own people at heart, and that's why you had to be lured into a big trap so that we could abolish all of you and then replace you with leaders, right? Leaders, actual leaders, not statesmen. So yeah, stop calling yourself statesmen if you want to stick around. Statesmen aren't. Who wants a statesman? Especially when you take our tax dollars and give them to Amazon so that you can cut our throats, right? It was exactly what y'all are doing. And then not only that, on top of all that, you're hacking our minds. And on top of all of that, you're burning down cities so that Jeff Bezos can buy up property and get a tax break in opportunity zones. So yeah, if that's what it takes to be a statesman, well, I don't want to have anything to do with being a statesman. I'd rather be a leader that gets all the right people behind me and we just kill all of you. That's what a leader does, because you're fucking Nazis and you're pieces of shit. Trump's awake. He just popped up my heads-up display and said, "Thanks for showing me all those new tricks." Ivanka's awake too. She's wearing some sort of like silk panties that they look kind of wet, actually. Yeah, I figured I'd throw that in there. It's true, actually, but seen that in my heads-up display just now. But normally you wouldn't mention something like that. But since I got tortured after you became president and lost everything I own, well, yeah, it really doesn't bother me to mention that, to be honest with you. Remember that extreme betting that you were talking about there, Trump? It was right around the same time that they were talking about opposition research in the media. How did all that work out for you? Remember in that movie, Devil's Advocate, that scene I've talked about several times where Al Pacino's talking in the street and the Rangers jacket is behind them, Texas Rangers, and there's those redfish on ice. What are the redfish on ice for? Is this gonna? Am I one of the? Well, I'm not one of the redfish on ice because I'm Al Pacino. But there's the redfish on ice in the background there. Were y'all getting ready to? So you got a bunch of targeted individuals who are on ice. So you got people on ice, right? Who are red. So are you going to replace the Republican Party with people like myself who are on ice? Or did y'all just get completely conned and literally walking down there and fucking them all, and there's not going to be a two-party system by the time I get done with you? I had to put the hacksaw back where it was at earlier, but this is where it was at. It's how the hacked pops there left it. So you got a mound destroyer with a hacksaw next to a magic mount. And you still got the Quickcrete here with the rose fertilizer. And looks like he tried to clean his workbench off a little bit, but not too much. So I don't know, I think that's the same. Is that the same 11/16 socket, just in case you thought I was full of shit the other day. Got the little 4-eyed guy here. Anyway, not too much special going on. Still got a king size marker down there on the level. So Supreme Blend coffee. That represents slavery. Cotton swamps. And you got a sawzall here. Not a whole lot new going on here at the fortune teller's house today, other than what I've already broke down. I know I've already given you a long list of movie homework, but watch Kaiser Soze while you're at it. They're cowboys. These appeared out of nowhere after my sister came over the other day, and I've been smoking some Monte Christo cigars. I stepped it up. I got the good stuff. And he put some mirrors. He put some rear view mirrors after he got his nigger knob on there. he put some rear view mirrors on the John Deere Gator here, so we can see behind us now. Not sure if I ever broke this down, but Flowmaster Super Chips, Dino Max, Cherry Bomb. This is cool. The Hooker. This is my uncle's business. Frank, quotation, air quotes, Frank Supply, like as in a Soviet supermodel who was in Hustler magazine. And Hooker Headers. There's another Super Chips, right? So, you know, that's all part of the family business there that Amazon infringed on by taking our tax dollars, which was, illegal, by the way. You can't subsidize a company so that they can rob your taxpayers after you take their taxpayers' dollars and give it to a company so they can rob you. You can't do that. It's illegal. What all of that Super Chips and stuff like that is trying to tell you there, Jeff Bezos, is Lockheed Martin and E.T. Used my family to expose you so that you and all your compadres there can all get your heads chopped off because you not only robbed us, but you hacked our minds with illegal CIA technology after they gave you $600 million to run your private security firm there that uses Ancestry.com to collect our DNA so that you can store that and then attack us with electromagnetic technology through the grid. Yeah, that's all. Everybody understands that now. It's on that A-Simulated Reality channel there, Jeff Bezos. So somebody was way ahead of the game there, and you just walked yourself right into a trap now, didn't you? Trump just sent me a text message in my heads-up display that said, "Come on, man, that's my daughter." I sent him a text message back, and that's how it works. All you got to do is think it. I told him, "Good, tell her I want some pussy." I told you a long time ago that Alex wanted to blackmail you with all of that information from Pinky and the Brain. And I truly meant it. All I wanted was some pussy from both your wife and Ivanka there, either one. So I don't know who you're going to hate more after this is over, but I figure the guy that's like, all I want some pussy versus like blackmailing you. Originally, I didn't want to blackmail you at all. I just knew about all of this. But I was like, I bet if I could just play my cards right after he becomes president, maybe when it's all said and done, I might get some of that good pussy. But we'll see. I've been there's like this rainbow with nails on it, right? In my heads-up display all the time. And then on the other side of the rainbow is Ivanka and Melania, like they're, all with their lingerie on and everything. And I'm like going across the rainbow on these nails, like, damn it, ow, right? And I'm like going across, and they're waiting for me on the other end of the rainbow with their lingerie on. Do you see all that in your heads-up display too, or is that just me? After the appropriate calculations that it took amongst this mind hive of goons, I have to come to the conclusion that this host is the most evil host of them all. I wonder if that Cuban cigar that Clinton stuck in the Winsky's poontang happened to have been a Cuban Monte Christo. Now that would have really made it interesting, wouldn't it? Well, I didn't catch this. These two mouse traps there for Pinky and the Brain. Alex and I are the two mouse traps. So when I opened it up, that was laying right here next to it like that, right? Ooh, I just pooted too. It's Zod. Now, if you remember, what was a Superman movie where he said, "Bow before Zod"? I find that odd. It's on top of some sandpaper. Oh, and it gets longer on the movie list. The Count of Monte Cristo. The Count of Monte Cristo. That is another one of my scripts that is spot on, by the way.